Hi, it's Deb from Project Life, Deb's Way again, doing the first video for 2022. This time I decided for my layout I'd use an Australian paper company called Bee Arty. They have a collection out about once every 2 months. They have lots of different papers and that, but this one was called Whispering Woods, and it is a very in your greens, and as you can tell they have a lot of beautiful burgundies and reds with this, so it is a very strong coloured collection, which I thought instead of doing like my normal pastel tones and that I would do something a little bit different to show that you can actually use some of these brighter papers for your project life layouts. Now in this layout I will be doing a flap card that goes in at the top as well in my layout, and I've done my mug map, which you can actually get online at my webpage, which is I'll put the links down below if you want to actually take a copy of this so that you know exactly the cutting and everything on what papers and everything I have used. And once again, I have done the cutting schedules for each of the cards before I actually do the cards as we go through the process. This is a preview of the finished layout. It also has a beautiful flap card as well. So I'll get on with doing the process video. For this layout I decided to use Whispering Woods by Bee Arty, which is an Australian paper company. They have a new line that comes out about every 2 months. This one has a lot of greens, your cutout sheet and everything else. I've decided with this to do a bit with cameras and the film cog, so I've just gone into my stash and with this was some free PNG files I had, so I just run 4 of those off, and for some of the smaller ones as well. But if you have a die cut for these, you could do a die cut as well. I found a couple of chipboard cameras, some of my cameras from my little stash of cameras, and I made up from some old paper some tags and things, and then I've got some little tags that I made up from some die cuts. I've also found a couple of pieces of black film strip from some die cuts, and I may, because this goes with the colour, use some of this green washi tape. I also will be using some baker's twine as well, just in the cream. I will be using white cardstock for my photo mats. Now this is the papers. This is some of the cutouts that you can use. I may use some of these for my 3x4s. And this is your cut apart sheet, which I've completely cut, done all my fussy cutting, and I've just bought myself a Brother Scan and Cut, and it cuts these out absolutely amazingly. Look at how it cuts the leaves out. It is absolutely brilliant. And then I have got included just some paper sheet from a book. I have got a couple of green plain sheets. So now I'll just quickly show you the papers. So you've got an idea of the papers. And this one here. I will put my little mug map of the exact papers I use once I have done my layout, so that you can actually choose your papers to be similar, or so you know exactly what I've used. So let's get on with making our cards. Before we start making our cards, I thought I'd give a run through of my little mug maps that I'm doing for you. I will always show you the papers that I've actually used from the kit. I'll also do any coloured cardstock I've got, and also my white cardstock I'm using for my mats. Now, as you know, with your 12 by 12, because it's Project Life, you always have your 6 by 4s or 3 by 4s are the basic measurements for your pockets. So basically what I have with my card, I always have them ruled up over 6-inch line, which is halfway, and then your 4 and your 8. So if you have a look at the mug map here, I have actually got the diagrams of which way I cut my cuts. And as you can see with this paper here, the flower is here and I've cut acrosswards. And here I've got the downward pattern, which I have cut your 4 inches. And as you can see with this one, I've done it slightly different. There is a cut at 6, because I've got your 2 4 by 6 pieces here. So when I'm actually finished this, you will find I have the dimensions of the cards I have cut in here. So that is how my little mug maps, and I'll also have a list included of all the extra pieces and things, and this will be on the website for you to have a look at my Facebook page for Project Life Deb's Way group, and also my web page, which is projectlifedebsway.com. So this is our first card, which I have cut from this paper here for the 12 by 12, and I've just cut the 6 by 4 down in the bottom so that I've got some of the little mushrooms and things. So that card here is your 6 by 4, which is this card in here. So it's just got the little mushrooms and things in it. So what I have done here for all of my photographs in this, I have got my green cardstock underneath, and then I've put my white on top to give that little border. Because this paper is so busy, I decided it just needed something, a colour behind, to make the photographs pop, so that you actually look at the photographs, not just all your coloured papers and things. So this card is really very easy. This one is just going to go into the bottom like so. I am going to put the little tag which came off of the word sheet that comes with this particular paper line, and then underneath that, this flower, the flowers are quite big from the cutout sheet, so what I did is I just cut across here so that you end up with this tiny bit here, and I've cut all this bit off to fit, so this goes on another layout. Now what I want to do with this is just tuck this underneath like so. So we're going to put our photograph down, and once again I've just got an 1/8 of an inch border on all of my photo mats. So there's an 1/8 of an inch, then you come down to your white mat, and then I cut my 3x4 photograph down just a little bit to actually fit within that. And that is a true 3x4 photograph. My photograph is a little bit shorter than the 4 inches, so what you do is angle this up or down to fit. So my photograph would be about 3 3/4, so I'm going to raise mine up slightly from where you would put yours. So we'll just pop this down, making sure that you put your tape a little bit from the edge because I'll be tucking things underneath. So we're going to pop that down in the middle. And as you can see, if I just had white, this photograph wouldn't have shown up, whereas with that little bit of green, which I've edged in my peeled paint colour, which is sort of a very dark sort of olivey green, which goes with this green here. Now we're going to put our little word down, which I've just rounded the corner to make this like a little tab. And we'll just poke that underneath just a little bit. And before we really lay that down, I want to be able to get my flower behind. So we will just sort of poke that in a bit and get that sort of line down. Then just hold it and pull your tape off to where you want that to stick, and don't do what I've just done. Try and get this off without damaging my photograph. That was a very daft thing to do. It just goes to show that we make mistakes when we're doing videos. Now we're just going to put our little signpost in and push that down, and there is a very easy number 1 card. This is card number 2, and I have cut the 6x4 sheet from this card here, and I have used making sure when you cut this that you have a full green piece. So you would make sure that you sort of cut it from the corner that has no flowers, because you need it plain green. And then I have got my photo mat, and then I have got my white photo mat, which I will just pop on top with my true 3x4 photograph. So I've done my photo mats just that little bit bigger so I can have a true 3x4. And once again, that's got that 1/8 of an inch to keep it consistent all the way through the layout. Now, I do love using old books for paper. Number one, it's a cheap way of getting some texture and some print into your layouts, particularly if it's a busy paper. So this is going to go up the top, and once again that has that 1/8 of an inch, which you had the cutting directions before. So we will, and I've just inked that in some brown, and this has been fully inked with the green. So we're going to pop that up the top. And our photo mats. And for once I'm organised and actually have my photographs. Now this is going to go just slightly over, but before you really stick that down, I have got one of those lovely photo reels that the kids used to have, that used to have the little photographs in. Now you can actually buy the PNG files. I managed to get this one free, so you can actually run them off yourself on your printer, and that way you can actually make the cogs the correct size to what you want. So that is going to get tucked underneath this photograph, and I'm just going to move that photograph across as much as I possibly can to just give a tiny little border there, like so. And I've just attached it down the bottom here. Now up at the top here, I have got some, this was a die cut that I have, and it has a long strip, and I'm just going to use cut bits off to use. So that is going to go here. And I do have some flowers to attach, so I'm going to attach that slightly over my photograph. Now with these cameras, the wood ones, you can actually ink them, but I prefer to just get a texter and just very quickly just go over them with a texter to make them black. Like so. Now I'm just going to stick my little film strip in. Just pop that down. And I've decided to put the flowers on the side. And once again, this was from the cut apart sheet, and I've just virtually cut bits off as I've wanted them. And from the cut apart sheet, there is a whole batch of flowers very similar to this, and I've just cut all these pieces off to use as my flowers, so there was no wastage there. Just going to pop a tiny bit of glue into these. Same as the leaf, there was a full big leaf, and I've just cut bits off of the leaf to use underneath to just give me some fernery, like so. And then the wooden camera, just pop a bit of glue on there, and I'm going to stick that over the top like that. And there we have a finished item. This is our third card, which I'm just going to do a large photograph on this one, so it is slightly different. Now I've just cut a 6x4, and I used the inside of this because I didn't want the dark edge on the side of the card here. I wanted quite a pink card, so I cut a 6x4 in the middle of the card there. So I have got my photo mat, and I've also got my white cardstock on the back of my photograph. So I'll just start constructing this, and once again, as with all this layout, I've just got the 1/8 of an inch all around cards. So this one's a real easy one. I've just edged this with the green, and same as the paper. So just mount that right in the middle, and there we have our card done. Now we're on to card 4. Once again, I've got one of the spokes. Now this one came off of the A4 cutout sheet, and once again that's one of those leaves that I have cut down. So we have got our 2 photo mats there, so I'm going to put each of those together. Once again, we've just got that 1/8 of an inch all the way around, and I have got my true 3x4 photograph to go on. And I've got my 6x4 card here. Now the 6x4 card came from this one sheet which has the dark brown underneath. Now I took this here. You've got a 4-inch strip across the top, which I have cut completely off, and then I took a 6x4 off of the side piece, so you just had that green running down there. So we are going to put our photograph down the bottom here. Now only attach the bottom of the photograph down. So just press that bottom piece down and make sure that this is not pressed down as yet. Now I am going to slide the camera viewer underneath. And bring that right up to the top. Like so. Stick that down. Now this little flower underneath here, see where it's cut up here? I'm just going to fold that under and over and bring that to the side. Now we'll just move this slightly across. That's where glue is really quite handy. And just pop that on the side and then bring the flower over like so. And then we are going to use a little bit of foliage underneath. Let's pop a bit of glue on that. Tuck that in. Now you snip your extra bits off. Now with this one, I would actually just trim that down to make it look like the bud. Now these are our 3x4s that we are going to do, and as normal I have got my 2 with the photo mat of 3x4 in the green, and then the mat is 2 3/4 by 3 3/4, which gives us 1/8 of an inch, and pop your photograph. With this one I haven't done my photograph yet, and I may actually do some journaling on this card instead. So there are our photo cards. So then we have our 2 what I call my eye candy cards. Now both of these are 3x4. So what I have done here, I have cut this one here, the 3x4 in the corner, and I then the other, because I cut the 6x4 card, and then I cut a 3x4 from the bottom, and then I cut a strip from the other card like that, and I've edged that in brown, whereas these are edged in the green. I have got some tags there which I've edged in brown, and this tag came from one of the sheets in the collection. This card here was cut from this one here, and I cut a 6x4 out and then cut my 3x4 for this card here. Now all we have to do with this one is to attach the little viewfinder, and as I said, you can see I've made this one slightly smaller. The joys of having digital PNG files, you can run all your own stickers off if you need to, time and time again. So they are a quite a good alternative if you find a kit that you really like with your digital and put it into your physical scrapbooking. Then all I'm going to do here is attach this here. Now with card making you can put cardboard behind, but with scrapbooking I don't like to do that. I prefer to use foam tape. So I'm just going to put some, to get a little bit of dimension. I don't very often do a lot of dimensional stuff with my Project Life because you need it to lay reasonably flat, but sometimes you just need it. And just pop that on like so, and then you've got a nice little eye candy card there. Now with this card here, I want this strip straight across the bottom. I just wanted to bring a little bit of pink into this. Now what I'm going to do is just layer my cards. Now this little one here, I'm just going to give it a bit of a pink, a green tinge, fold that little line over, to get my bits on. Now these are the snippets. I bought a digital kit that has like all numbers and little tiny pieces, and you can run them off as big or as small as you want. They do come in a PDF form, but you can fit it to make them smaller. They are absolutely fantastic because once you've bought them, you've got them forever, and they're great for these type of tickets and tags and all of that sort of stuff. And these are the type of thing, a small pack of these does cost, you know, $7 or $8, and you use the ones that you want and you're left with loads that you won't ever use. Whereas this way you can decide what you like, and if you want more, just run them off. So after your initial purchase, you do save money. Now I'm going to be using some very lightweight cord to do, so it's not too heavy because it's such a tiny little tag. So what I want to do with this particular tag, I want to thread and I always thread from the front to the back. It's just something I tend to do. Once again, it's just a consistency thing. There we go, and I'll just trim the ends off. Now with this one, I wanted to wrap and come round. Just tie a knot. Cut your little ends off. And then what you do is just splay where you've gone round and round. Just sort of splay them out a bit. And it just makes a really plain little tag quite nice. Now, if you haven't got a die cut, you could actually just cut this out of some white, just fold that piece over, and then just do exactly what I've done. So now what we're going to do is this one as well. I wanted a cord, but because this cord is so fine, I am going to double it over. Front to back again. Pull through. And then I'm going to cut my ends. You could do a little bow, but I liked just the ends there. So that's going to go like that. And then this one is going to go on the top like so. And as you can see, it all does tend to work. So we'll attach this one first. Now I might cut this one down as far as I can get it. Just slant it slightly. Then this one, and as you can see, the little snippets do just add that little oomph to your tags to make them more realistic. And it was also a way of using some of your stamps or old papers that you can use to make your tags. And then this little one is going in here. Now with this one, I'm going to glue this into place. So there we have our two eye candy cards. We have our photograph card, and then we have our other photograph like that. So we have completed one full side of our 12 by 12 layout. Quite easily. And as you can tell, if I hadn't have put that green around my photographs, I don't think the photographs would have actually popped up above the other layering and etc., because it is quite a busy paper with very, very distinct colours. So this is one way. You could have also put black around, which in hindsight probably that would have actually made the photographs pop even more. So we're on to our right hand side layout, which of course is a landscape this time. Now this particular card here, I have cut from the sheet just here. So you've got the little bit of flowers down the bottom. Now this pink sheet, remember you cut that 1 inch, so you should have a small square of pink that you can cut to your dimensions there. So I am going to edge all of my cards. So I've put my photo mats together with my photograph, which I've just snipped down to actually fit into the restraints I have. Now this pink piece here, we just need to put it on the side here, and I've done, once again, I've done this in brown, not green, with the edging. So that just goes on, and that will give you that nice 1/8 of an inch, so that all your borders are tending to line up. Now this is going to go just on the side with an even border all the way around. So we just need to attach this down like so. Now with this, once again, I've got one of those small little snippets, so I'm just going to snip that down, edge it, and just glue that onto the bottom of this little ticket. Now I want my ticket just slightly behind and raised up slightly, so we will just attach that down. I tend to use glue for these because that way you can actually move them around a bit once you've attached them. And then I want to just fiddle around until you get it where you would like it to basically be. And then this was just one of the flowers that I cut to bits from the bottom of the cut apart sheet. And then just attach. And as you can see, I have wrapped around exactly the same as we did for the other tag. Okay, this is part A of card 6 because we will be doing a flat card with this. So this is the base card, which is your 6x4, which came from this piece here, up here in this top corner with that nice drip, but I want you to turn it around so that that goes down to the bottom. Now I've got my normal 3x4 white and the 3 1/4 by 4 1/4 for the green. So what I want to do with this, I want to get this over into the left hand corner like that, and just leave a nice little border. Now don't collect this down yet because this came off of the saying sheet that came with that. So I want to just put that, like a tab. just like that. And then all I'm going to do here is I'm going to stick my little film strip across so that we've got a film strip on the other side and we've got a film strip on this side. Always remember, try and mirror everything from one side of your layout to the other side of the layout. So if you have a camera on one side, you must have a camera on the other side. It just keeps the flow of your layout going. And then we're just going to pop a camera across here, like so. And there we have part A finished. Now, for this card that we've just completed, I wanted to do a fold flat. So the flat there is 4 1/4 by 4. Now the reason why you have an extra 1/4 inch is for the fold mechanism, which goes across. You can actually do that more, but I didn't want to waste card. So I've got that there. Now what I'm going to do there, I'm going to get a strip of leftover card that I have got, and I'm just going to cut a piece and attach it to this fold just to make it that little bit more secure than I have. I probably should have cut that a bit, but I was being a bit mean with my paper. So we will just attach an extra support there, because being open and shut, it will take quite a lot of punishment. So you're better off having it well stuck in the first place. So I'm just going to attach a card for the back fold. So it's just got a bit more oomph. Okay, so that will fit over the top, and it should cover our piece underneath once it's done, like so. So what we have to do now is we will start with the front piece. Now these two pieces of paper are exactly the same size, and this piece here, I have cut your 4 out of this 6 by 4 piece. I've cut the 4 by 4 1/2 just inside here. So you just need to cut your sheet. Now, from the book part, I just want this on the front here. Now, just remember, whenever you're doing a fold flat, this is where you have to use your extra tape. Because everything gets handled a lot more, you need that extra support system. We're going to tuck that onto our front of our card. Then I'm going to put my little viewfinder on there and attach that down, making sure it's well glued. And put that over the side. Now I have got here, as you can see, one of the leaves that was cut and the flower. So I'll just go quickly around that and edge it, just so you don't get any of the little white bits showing. And the same goes in here. Just give it a quick going over with. There we go. Just make them look dirty and grungy. Okay, so all I want here is this front piece. Now, a lot of people would say you could raise that, but because this is already got a flap, you don't want any more bulk in your folder. So I'm just going to lay this one flat. Make sure it's well and truly glued down. And position your piece where you need it. Wipe off any excess glue. And then I have a little adventure here from that word sheet that came with the kit. So we are going to attach that now. So there is the front of our flap done. Now the back is a very simple just attach this, and I've edged this in the green. Now, because of the way that the plastic folders work, you will normally find with the landscape cards that the plastic folders actually have the whole slit that your card goes in at the top of the page. So consequently, if you do a flap from the top down, you can just stick it onto the card and just slot the card in. It's such an easy thing. So now we're just going to, this is just like a die cut that I had, and it was some old heartfelt paper that had some lines on it. So I've actually just cut my dies out and done quite a few and sort of browned the edges to make like old news note paper. And I want this because I want to be able to do some writing on it. Some hidden journaling, or you could put a photograph here if you wanted. Just do a little photo mat there. And then I want bring that further down. And then I want my flower so there we have our flap finished. And as you can see, I've made a huge mistake here, not thinking. So we will quickly take that off and reverse it around. Okay, so because I've made that mistake, I'm going to have to cut these two little bits off. Pop my flower that way and then reattach my branches. Just one of those things that happens when you're not paying attention. So there we have that card quickly corrected. Now to attach it to our card, here. Bring it over so that perfect just looks like a, and get your same width as what your fold is. But make sure when you put your tape that you're just below the fold line, because you don't want to go right up to that fold line, otherwise it will catch and that's not a good look. So take any of the little bit of tape that's over the edge and then take your tape off. Now, how you attach this is put your card where it needs to go. And then fold it over. Get it nice and straight. Might take a little bit of fiddling. And then really burnish that down. So when you put that into your folder, you would slide your card in and that flaps over the plastic flap. So there we have a very nice journaling hidden spot for you to put your journaling on. Now this is card 8. Now the measurements I did with this one is your true 3x4 in your green, and then it would be 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. But because I want this photograph to sit like this, I have actually just cut a little bit off the top to actually make it fit. So you'll need to just cut some of that. Now what I have done here, I've got my 6x4 card. Now the green card here came from the top, up the top here, and the 6x4 pink came from here on that card. So all you need to do now is just attach your book paper like so. And then you want this green, and I want this put right to the edge. With no border, right in the middle, like so. Now our photograph is going to go like that. So you need to cut your photo mat to accommodate that. Now what we are going to do here is just doing a bit of placement here. Okay. So we'll just hook them off and start by gluing everything down. glue the bottom here. Once again, around the pink, I've edged in the dark brown, not the green. So then just start popping all your bits of flowers, and these were cut from the bottom. Once again, I sort of had the cut apart sheet. Just stick everything down. Last but not least, once you've done that, you can actually attach your camera. To where you want that to sit. This is the last of our landscape 6x4 cards. Now this particular card here I took from this last piece up the top here, 6x4, and you should have had a little 3x4 piece left over, or some scrap card which you can take this little inch strip off of. So this card is easy. Now I don't have a true 3x4 photograph here which you would use. I had an odd size, like this one is 4.5 by 3, so it's just slightly different. But as I said, you can organise that by doing a different size placemat, so long as that you've got your 1/8 of an inch border all the way around. So what I needed to do with this one is just add this little bit of pink card just on the side here. Now the reason why I wanted this is because this card is sitting next to it and it was too white looking at it. So I've actually added that little bit of strip to actually make this flow that little bit better. So now I'm going to put my photo down in the middle of the card. So you would have a true, yours would finish here if you've got a true 3x4, but that doesn't matter. Now I'm going to just pop this underneath. Now I'm popping mine underneath, but yours will, if your photograph is smaller, will come to here. So you will actually see more of this. So what I'm going to do to make an adjustment for that, I'm going to cut that bud off of that flower so I can actually bring my flower over slightly. Now I'm going to place that up towards the top. Just tuck it underneath. And then I'm going to put my foliage to give that little bit of greenery to it. Just sort of poke that underneath before the glue dries. And then this, I'm going to get a little bit of foam tape. And as you can tell, once again, I have just done my wrapping so that it's the same as what's on the other pages. And I'm going to just pop that up into the top corner. And I do have some words to put on this, which I can't find at the moment, because this is actually the Gold Coast in 1980. And as you can tell, the only high rise are up the top here. There's no highs, whereas this is all now high-rise buildings. This is our last of our 4 3x4 cards, and then our layout is finished. Now I've got my 2 photo mats as normal, but as I said, my photographs weren't really big enough, but that's what I just put them on anyway. So this is our first card. So just cut yourself a 3x4 of the pink card. What we are going to do there is we are just going to put our other little tag that came with the cut apart sheet. Now with this one I've just done a tag and I just used some green washi tape, but if you didn't have that you could put a piece of green card on there, wrapped it round and etc. for that. Now I'm going to stick that on to my card as well. And on this I've got some of the cut out flowers, which I've actually made a mistake here. To get the flowers correct, I need to put my tag on that side and then this one on this side, and then pop my flowers down the bottom. I've got some of my little snippets . Just pop on that tag. So there's that card finished there. Now with this one, it's just the other card which came from this piece inside here. I've got one of my movie camera pieces. Now I've just cut a piece of that card, a little bit left over. I'm sure you've got some scraps there that you can use. Now I'm just popping that in the bottom with just 1/8 of an inch all the way around. We then put our film piece in. Pop that up the top. The flower. Now this flower piece, if you remember rightly, I cut all the top off because I didn't want it overtaking everything, and I'm just going to slant that up the page, and I'm going to put some of the greenery in. Just pop that underneath like so, just so that you get your elongation. And then I'm going to put one of the sayings that came from that sheet like so. Now when I put this into my layout, I will be putting it like this so that the 2 photographs are together, and then you have your 2 for the bottom, your 1 up the top, like so. And then of course we have our flap card. like that. And as you can see, I've tried to offset my photographs so that you don't have all your photographs together, so that it is spread right throughout your whole layout. Here we have the finished layout, and as you know, we put the photographs on as we went through the process. And don't forget the beautiful flat page that comes with this layout. And if you did like this process, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and ding the bell, because then you'll get notifications when I have new videos out. And also go down and check out some of my other videos. I've got tons there of different collections and things, so there should be, if this one doesn't suit your liking, I'm sure you'll find one from the other collections that I've done that is more suited to the type of scrapbooking that you would like doing. So until next time, keep scrapping. Bye.